All right, so let me ask you this question, and this is a little bit loosey-goosey, right? You look at 2024, wide receivers were Garrett Wilson, J-Mo, Chris Olave, Drake London. That was a pretty good list. I mean, Jameson Williams is not coming along as well, and we want to see more from Drake London, but 2022 was really good. Last year, Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, who's a little bit later in that list, Jaden Reed, Puka Nacua, Jordan Addison.
I mean, it's tough. Like, I'm saying top 25, and then you're, like, naming some guys that I'm like, dang, you know, like, Tank Dell has already got a chance to become C.J. Stroud's long-term number one wide receiver.
Which is crazy, right? It highlights the fact of what you talked about, how the NFL is such a pass-heavy league now that these guys are going to get more opportunities than what we have seen in recent years. So when you look at this, I mean, I understand we need these guys to be on teams, but like the way you talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. and Rome Odunze and like Malik Nabers, it makes it sound like this might be the best wide receiver class out of the last 3, 4, 5 years, potentially.
Maybe more than that. I asked this question to Mel, who's been doing this for 40-plus years. He invented the industry, and he was like, I mean, we're going deep into the archives to find a class that has as much wide receiver talent, because beyond these three, who themselves make this a headlining class, like I was looking at, I've been working on my big board, and it's constantly shuffling with the All-Star games taking place, and players that I thought were going to come out that decided to go back to school and vice versa. And I think that like calling a player a first-round prospect can be a little bit of a fool's errand, because there are certain years where there's not that many first-round grades. There are certain years where there's maybe more first-round grades than there are picks. But like I plausibly can make a case for like 11 of the top 40 to 45 players in the draft being wide receivers. Wow. Which is wild.
That is wild.
On the one hand, that means that we could have 7 or 8 go in the first round. On the other hand, teams may say, why would I bother taking a wide receiver at 15 if I could get the 7th best receiver rather than the 5th best receiver at pick 45 or something?
Yeah, the middle of the second.
But at some point, the pause will start.
But there's just, I feel like we've had, not at this level, but we've had a lot of good receiver classes in the last 5-6 years. There's only so many targets to go around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is getting tricky. Think about it. If most teams are in 11 personnel, 3 receivers on the field, there's 32 teams. That's 96 receivers. So you could rank a guy 60th, and you're going to be like, I'm disrespecting this guy a lot. But you're like, I could see him 35th as well. I mean there's just, think about Jameson Williams. He's going into year 3. He's a top 10 prospect.
Yeah.
We've seen his explosion. We saw it yesterday. I mean, this is a guy that no doubt could finish wide receiver 7 in fantasy next year, and we wouldn't be totally shocked. He has that pedigree, right? He has that upside. Yeah. But how do you rank him ahead of any of the guys we just talked about? I mean, he just hasn't done it. There's so many guys that have tremendous upside right now or are in great positions, or some that are in both. So it's such a tough position to evaluate because there's so many good options.